Joining us this afternoon to discuss the president's acquittal and his response is the legal expert we turn to around here, Seth Berenzweig, a partner in Berenzweig, and I always forget this.
Berenzweig Leonard.
Thank you. I should know that by now. That's the name of the law firm.
No worries.
It was really something today to watch that. If you were expecting some sort of kumbaya moment in which all is forgiven and we now have to move forward, it was exactly the opposite, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was basically a one-hour dance in the end zone, spiking the football a couple of times. And it's reminiscent of the call that was made by Adam Schiff a couple of days ago, really just kind of thinking as to whether or not there were going to be some heads on a spike. And of course, Senator Murkowski said, how could you even say such a thing? Well, here we are. It's really an amazing process. And it's also an amazing reflection on a process that was supposed to be guided by the Constitution, but that did not follow the Constitution. So it's a remarkable moment in American history.
The president raising an issue there that I think is probably worthy of debate a little bit. He said, you know, this could happen to anybody. Well, yes, it could,
right.
But I'm not sure that this in any way changes the impeachment process necessarily, does it?
I don't think so. You know, when he says this could happen to anybody, you're right. I mean, I think that if there's another high crime and misdemeanor that could be encompassed within what the Congress believes could be subject to impeachment, then yes. But, you know, if you take a look at what happened in the Senate in particular, this is really a very peculiar moment in legal and American history because take a look at the phrase of high crimes and misdemeanors. At the end of the day, the president was acquitted under theories that included the argument by Alan Dershowitz that the president can engage in illegal, self-serving political quid pro quo if he or she believed that it was serving in the best interest of the country. And it's really a very concerning moment when you're looking at a body that was supposed to be at a certain deliberative process that's supposed to be applying this, and they never did that. They said, well, why don't we just kick it out to the election, and now it's in the court of public opinion.
To me, the thing about impeachment is, though, we view it through the lens of this legal process. But it's a political process at its absolute heart, and it seems to me that's what happened. There was a very political judgment rendered. Absolutely.
It is political, and at its heart, it is historically political, but the Founding Fathers also wanted it to be, in a way, removed from the political process because the theory under this constitutional structure was that this was supposed to be a learned body that was supposed to be somewhat insulated from some of the unique political machinations of the public. Unfortunately, we're nowhere close to that today.
Turned out to not necessarily be the case at all. All right, let's talk about moving forward now. Was today the unofficial beginning of the re-election campaign, the president basically saying, if you're not with me, you're against me, and you're going to pay the consequences for that. Obviously, he's going to be the nominee, but I think it was a shot across the bow of all the Democratic challengers as well.
Yeah, he was definitely painting a broad brush, and he was trying to see who he could paint outside the lines from Nancy Pelosi. And for anyone who's going to be talking about this, I think he was trying to lay out a tone that if anyone's going to be bringing this back up when they're going to be having the next debates, honestly, I think he's trying to lay out some kind of a topic fatigue and really kind of implicitly challenging the Democrats to move on. Will the House, for example, issue a subpoena for John Bolton? Will they continue to try to dig back and see if they can open up the treasure and see if there's something in the box or not, or is it going to end up like a Geraldo moment where it's going to be empty? But you're right. I think he was trying to
nothing in John Dillinger's tomb after all, or something like that.
Exactly.
If this is the beginning of the campaign, at what point do Democrats start running against the president? Everybody sort of is, but you can't entirely when you've got all these other challengers as well.
Well, you know, I think that they're going to have to really just try to focus on the issues and try to get out of the rearview mirror. And the reason why it's so important—
Iowa didn't help.
Well, that's true, and for what you just said a few minutes ago, it's just beyond a debacle. I think we're probably witnessing the last time that Iowa was going to be going first.
I think so.
That's just my wild guess. But let's see how this ties back into the impeachment. the constitutional guardrails of our country only work as good as the people behind them. And when you have a person like Mitt Romney having a historic moment yesterday, giving a very heartfelt and emotional speech, and yet he's being castigated a few minutes ago by the president in the White House, that's why what's happening in November is so important, because those are the people, not only in the White House but elsewhere, that are going to be critical for applying those constitutional guardrails. So this is really where the balance of the country is at stake.
The other thing somebody told me today, and I think there's an awful lot of truth in this, this is early February. It's a long way until November.
Yeah.
And there's no way to know what lies between here and there, and that could very well, this could be just a footnote when we get down to that point. So
Very true.
I guess we shall all see, right? But in the meantime, Seth Berenzweig, and always worthy of our attention because he puts things in such interesting and important perspective, and he's done it once again. Thanks so much.
Always a pleasure.